I would like to welcome you to Medical Terminology. This is a course that I really enjoy teaching. I think I bring a lot to the course, as you might have seen in my intro, and I'd just like to give you a real brief tour of some of the stuff that we're going to do. One of the things to know is, since it's an online course, there really isn't a limitation on the number of students I can have, other than the fact that you will be doing a project. I have TAs who will grade the project, and I need to protect their time. They will also be helping with some of the discussion board activities. So really, and they're full-time students, and I need to draw a line somewhere, but with this mix of 220 students, it's actually very diverse. I've got people who are taking this course the first semester. I've had people who are getting ready to go to medical school that are taking the course. Some people, as you can see, have had A and P, some have not. And so I think it's nice in a course like this that the group that you will be in, which I'll talk about in a second, will have a mix of students, and the students with more educational background hopefully will be able to help the students who have less. I've got people who are in the course who might be medical assistants or something like that that have some medical background, and again can try to help out other students who are in the course. And when you do that, it really does make it feel like you're in an actual course versus an online course. Since you are going to be joining a group, and your group is listed in the syllabus based on the first letter of your last name, once you join that group, you'll see a slot so that you can put in discussion board a brief introduction of yourself to the group, talk about some of your background, how did you get into the course, anything that you want people in your group to know. As you go on in the course of the semester, you'll have activities if you choose to do discussion board activities, which I'll talk about in a second. Then the TAs will be helping to evaluate your discussion board postings, etc. But this is a good way to try to get questions answered even this first week about the course. It's very important, since there are going to be a lot of activities during the semester in this course, that you really carefully read the syllabus, and when we get into the lessons on Blackboard, you make sure that you go through each part of each lesson and accomplish what you need to accomplish. If you carefully read the syllabus and go through all the parts of each lesson, I believe it will cut down on confusion. In the past, I had 220 students write me 3 emails apiece, which is, if you're doing the math, 660 emails, which really is not doable. So I think this use of the discussion board and this introductory video will help to cut down on confusion and my massive emails that I really need to attend to. In that same vein, we have a syllabus quiz that you'll do. That's another reason that you'll want to read this syllabus very carefully. And make sure, like I said, that you follow the directions, do all of the activities in each part of the lesson. So let's go take a look at Blackboard and take a look at the website. So I'm going to go to boisestate.edu. This site will probably change a little bit. We've got My Boise State. I have a faculty and staff sign in. You don't. And I'm going to go to Blackboard. See if I can type my password right. I can't. I can. There we go. So I'm going to show you the master that I have for this course. The site that you will see is going to look very similar. There won't be any announcements. These are from a previous semester. But when you log in, you'll come to the announcements page, so you'll see what's going on. Syllabus is obviously found under Syllabus. Faculty Information, which has a little video on YouTube, which hopefully you'll be able to watch. and get some information about my background and about the course. But then you're going to get into lessons. And in lessons, the first one that we'll do is the Getting Started lesson. So when you get into the Getting Started lesson, that's where you're going to see my little orientation video. But we've got lots of stuff in each one of these lessons, like introduce yourself. That's what I talked about with joining a group. Blackboard Collaborate is something that is an opportunity to interact with me live, and I will actually give you a Blackboard Collaborate day and time quiz, and it's quiz in quotes, to find out days of the week and times that will work for hopefully a large number of students in the course. So if you want to do Blackboard Collaborate, you don't have to have a microphone and a headset like I've got on right now, but it helps. You can also log on, you can do a chat function and type questions and answers, but it's an interactive opportunity to feel more like you're in a live course. So during the first week, I'll put this quiz out, we'll have you fill that out, and we'll pick some days and times that we think might be able to work. I probably will start off doing 2 45-minute sessions a week. We'll see what the attendance is like, and then continue on during the remainder of the semester on some schedule, and I'll be posting announcements on that. After we get done with the first week, you'll go into lesson 1, which is going to be the structure of medicine. But I'm going to jump ahead a little bit and take a look at a chapter on gastroenterology. So you'll have a lesson introduction, and these lesson introductions will be in each lesson to tell you what we're going to do, why we're going to do it. Obviously, we want you to read the chapters in the textbook, and you'll have the custom textbook that I'm using for the course. We have case studies, and once you get past the first couple chapters, each one of these lessons will have case studies that I've generated from my experience in critical care. The gastroenterology chapter has patients that have GI issues, gastrointestinal issues. So as you go through these case studies, you'll be opening a sheet that you'll be able to go through, a worksheet that you will be able to go through and fill out answers as you translate from medical terms to lay terms. So that's the way each one of these cases is going to run. So as you go through it, you'll be able to watch different sections of a live class discussion that was recorded during a previous semester. So each one of these lessons, when we have a specific chapter involved, that's the way it will work. When we get to an exam, that will be a review week. So the lesson that you're going to go through there is going to be what I've done in a live class. We did some review games. We did another dictation instead of a translation. And what I mean by that is you'll be taking lay terms, translating them into medical terms, much like a doctor, a physician assistant, a nurse practitioner, for instance, may do if they're taking care of patients and they're dictating into a chart. So that's essentially what we're going to be doing with Blackboard. And as we get to Blackboard Collaborate, I'll give you more information, but when you go into Tools, you'll be able to go into Blackboard Collaborate, and I'll actually have a link for that with an announcement with the day and time that we're going to do a Collaborate session, and again, an opportunity to talk live. So we'll go back in and go from the Blackboard site. Like I said, look at each part of the lesson each week. One of the things that you're going to have to do is document that you did your active participation in the class. So each week that I've got a documentation quiz, you'll say, yes, I did discussion board and responded to questions related to a journal article that I post that you'll read. Or I did Collaborate, which is the live session where we talked about that article and maybe went off and talked about some other tangential things. Or you'll say, no, I didn't do my activities this week. I don't earn any participation points. And participation points are earned either through Collaborate or discussion board, or I should say, and using the publisher's website, which has a variety of activities that we'll talk more about later on. When you bought your custom textbook, you should have information about registering for the MyMed Term Lab. And when you do that, you'll also have to use this course ID, which is Anderson 24259. As this slide says, it's all lowercase with no spaces. And when you do that, all of the activities that you do on the MyPearson's or the MyMed Term Lab, the Pearson site, all of your activities and your scores will be downloaded into the Blackboard site. And that's going to be very important because that's where you're going to get another 25 points on your participation. So let's see if we can get into that Pearson product. So I'm going to sign in because I've already registered. Students will have to register here. I'm going to sign in and hopefully it still knows my password. So we'll get to the Medical Terminology Health Studies 101 Fall 2013. And again, this is the instructor's view. Yours will look slightly different. But there are several nice things about this. If we go to Course Home, we'll be able to go to an assignment calendar, which I probably will not use. I think I'll make all my announcements on Blackboard. Syllabus, again, will be posted on Blackboard. You have access to the e-text. So every chapter in the entire textbook, again, I'm using a custom textbook with only the chapters that I'm teaching. That's the printed textbook that you purchased in the bookstore. If you're interested in other chapters, you've got the e-text for everything. You've got course content, and it goes chapter by chapter. The first chapter we'll start with is chapter 1. You've got learning activities, so a link to the e-text, some dynamic lectures which are from the publisher. You may want to listen to some of those in addition to the ones I do. I'll leave that up to you. But we've got, in the learning module, we also have learning quizzes. And the quizzes are a way for you to prepare for all of the quizzes and exams that you're going to do on Blackboard. And this is another way that you're going to be able to get into activities. When you see learning module and it says this content will open in a new browser, what you'll have to do is right click on it or whatever. If you're an Apple person, you might have to do something else. But I'm going to open that in a new tab. And it will march you through a variety of activities that are related to that chapter. So this is something that you'll do for each one of the chapters that I'm teaching. And I will leave this up to you to take care of this every week. But again, the scores from all these quizzes and other activities are going to be dumped into Blackboard. Another thing that's nice about this is it actually has a study plan. So you can go in, you can take some evaluations, and it will identify your strengths and weaknesses, and it will give you a study plan for each one of these chapters. Now, I will tell you that this is the very first time, I guess it wants me to open up, there we go, pop-up window. But anyway, this is the first semester that I've used this. I've used Medical Term Interactive, which I'll show you here in a second. But as far as the rest of this MyMed Term Lab, you guys will be the beta testers for me with this course. So what I have used in the past is called Medical Terminology Interactive. And notice that it's not supported by Internet Explorer. I recommend you use Chrome. Firefox apparently works, or Safari if you're on Apple. So when we go to MedTerm Interactive, it takes us to a virtual hospital. Oh, I'll wear green scrubs. My hair is kind of funny like that. And hair color is brownish, except for the salt and pepper gray. I think I'd scare my patients if I wear any of these. I guess I'll stick with that one. So now we come into the reception desk at the hospital. So the way this is set up, each of these floors is a chapter in the book. Since we're the first chapter that we're going to deal with is chapter 1, we're going to go to that floor. And we can go to a variety of areas. We can go to the examination room. And we've got tons of activities. Now, some of these things are probably more fun for an elementary school person than for a college student, but you might find some of these things to be very interactive and very helpful. We can go to the laboratory and you can see what different people do in medicine in action, body rhythms. I want you to play with this and see what they do. See what you think will be of benefit to you learning this new language. And then in the records room, we've got spelling challenge. Spelling is very important. As you'll note, if you change one letter of a word, sometimes you change its entire meaning. So it's very important to prevent medical errors. Medical language spoken here, you'll be able to listen to some pronunciations. And again, these are things that will help you when you get to a hospital or a facility to be able to effectively communicate. The lab room, the exam room, you can get back and forth this way. So I'm going to close out of this thing. I'm going to discharge myself from the hospital and I get back into the my med-term lab. So in a nutshell, that's what you're going to be doing with my medical terminology lab. And hopefully you'll find that these activities are very helpful to help you learn all of the things that you need to learn to be successful in this course. So, like I said, we've got freshmen through seniors in this course. I'm not just teaching the language, I want to also teach you something about medicine. I want you to learn something about procedures that we do. A lot of students in this course are going to be nurses or physicians, and I think this gives you a better idea of how to anchor the material, the language, the communication skills to what you're going to be doing in those job roles. So again, welcome to the course. I really enjoy teaching this course, and I hope you enjoy taking it as well.